Hello and welcome to Witchy Woman Podcast. I am your host, Danae Sweet, and this is Season 5, Episode 3. Hello, witches. Today is a witchy class episode, and we're going to go over the roots of the words witch and witchcraft and look at some terminology within our community. But first, a little life update. I can't remember if I said something in the last episode about us living in this like ittle bitty tiny place for the past 3 years. And then we have construction going for over 15 months now. We have had terrible luck with contractors and things going wrong, and finally things are going a little bit right, and we were able to move into the new bedroom and into the new living room. So I have space. You can probably hear the echo. This is the space I have right now to do it in, and it just feels so much better. I promise the audio the quality is going to get better when I get access to my witchy space, which will be upstairs. I plan to have like a little spot that I'm going to create just for podcasting with some like noise dampening stuff on the walls, just a little nicer spot for me to do this in. What else? Oh, we went to a really fun witchy event on Halloween. Somebody in the town next to us was doing a like drag karaoke witchy night, and we went and did that, and it was also a food drive for the local pantries, and that was a lot of fun. I would like to encourage anybody listening to, if you have the means, don't do it unless you have the means, but if you have the means, please donate to your local food banks. Find places that are safe for everyone. And what that means, like for me in our area, is that I'm going to give to food banks that don't ask for your name or any kind of papers or ID. They just feed you because you're fucking hungry. So those are the places that I am putting energy into. We're also trying to figure out where to donate like feminine hygiene products and baby stuff, because some of the food banks, they don't take that sort of thing. So we're trying to find somewhere that would be accessible to everybody in the community to be able to get that sort of thing. So we're working on that. Hopefully we'll find a solution and have somewhere that we can drop off supplies and people can pick them up when they need them. So anywho. And I'm also going to participate in the blackout. So I don't remember the dates, but it's basically don't buy shit from big box stores and don't participate in consumerism and capitalism during this blackout time, which is basically, I think it was from Black Friday to Christmas or something like that. I can do better. Let me look it up. Okay, I found the flyer. It's from November 25th through December 2nd. So we are participating in that, and I thought it would be a fun project to try to make all of my Christmas gifts this year. So yeah, if you have any ideas, please let me know. Okay, I have one more thing to share, but it's going to be... This is very vulnerable for me, but I did a video interview with the Times Radio UK, and they posted it on YouTube, and I'm usually safely behind my laptop and this mic. I don't have to be on video. So I'm very nervous about what I look like and how I come across, and I haven't even watched the video yet. I plan on watching it this afternoon with my husband, and that way he can like keep me from the comment section, because that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of how mean the comment section is, and I don't want it to trigger any worse self-image, body issues that I have, anyway. Long story short, I did a thing and I would love to share it. I'll post the link in the show notes. I will make a post on social media on my accounts at some point here in the next day or so. I just have to get enough courage to do it. They interviewed me and a few other people in town. I don't know how long it is. I think somebody says like 15-20 minutes video, so it's not that long, but it does give a little perspective on what it's like to live here. And the other people that were interviewed, gave their take on being here, and I believe they were Republicans. So in a sea of red, I got to be a little blue witchy dot to share my voice, and I want to share that with you. And it scares me very, very badly, but I did it. I did a thing. Okay, so let's get on with the class material. So today we're going over the origins and meanings of the word witch and witchcraft and some terminology within our community. So if you were in my actual class, I would ask you to write a bit in your journal about how you'd feel if someone outed you in public as a witch. I do this for myself as a journal entry every few years just to look back and see how that has evolved or changed for me. And it's interesting the insights that you'll come up with over time because it changes. My view of being a witch changes with myself and how I change and move around the world, I think. Okay, back to the lesson. So the word witch has a considerable amount of baggage attached to it, and for good reasons. History has used witch as a derogatory term to describe an unpleasant female. It has also been used to strike fear into others and used as a scapegoat, as it was during the times of the witch trials. History has shunned those who claim the word and forced the word upon those who society deems undesirable, threatening, taboo, or otherwise outside the comforts of societal norms. It's important for you to start out on your journey to take some time and sit with this word, whether you intend to claim it or not. The word has energy behind it, and those who speak the word determine the energy behind it. And I want to point out that you do not have to claim this word witch to practice witchcraft. You can call yourself whatever the hell you want. I just really wanted to dive into this word, whether you're going to use it or not, because it does have a lot of baggage. And I think that talking about it and journaling about your experience with that word is very insightful. Okay, so according to etymonline.com, the word witch comes from Old English witche, W-I-C-C-E, witche, which means female magician or sorceress. The male counterpart to this Old English term is witcha, W-I-C-C-A. That was a male wizard or someone who practices witchcraft. In those times, it was perfectly acceptable to be male or female and to be accused of being a witch. So we also have the Low German translation of, it's spelled W-I-K-K-E-N or W-I-C-K-E-N, but it's Wiccan, like with a V kind of. The W sounds like a V, so Wiccan. That was the one who practices witchcraft, and Wicker or Vicar or W-I-C-K-E-R meant soothsayer. So there's a couple different ways to interpret and use that word in different contexts. None of these had negative connotations in the early years. There's been many forms of this word throughout history that meant other things like necromancer or divination. So this word evolved as time, as society evolved, as people decided what was good and what was not good, what was evil and what was, godly. It's also worth noting that the meanings of these words were binary at the time and have since evolved into including non-binary people and all genders. Of course, there's going to be those that will stand rigid in the binary due to their beliefs and prejudices, but a good majority of the witchy community, from my experience, has embraced the evolution of humanity and the words we use to describe the human experience. And I may be wrong. Maybe because I am, a cisgendered female, that I am not experiencing these prejudices. So if it is an issue with the large part of the witchy community, please say something to me. So moving on to when things kind of went downhill for the word. So think early 1500s, Old English word for witchcraft was witchcraft. So just add a little in there. The world changed. Christianity came into the picture. The word took on a whole new meaning, and it was very less than positive. In 1592, witchcraft was a punishable crime as per the English law. The last trial was in 1717, and the Witchcraft Act was repealed in 1736. I'm not going to bore you with the entire history of the word, but let's just say it took a turn for the worst as time has gone on. It was no longer a word for a person in the village that has knowledge of herbs and midwifery. It was a coward's word to condemn and ostracize women and others who didn't want to conform to the church and the patriarchy. It was definitely used as a weapon. So let's move on to some other words that I feel are important for witches to understand. Whether you're a solitary witch or prefer to practice witchcraft in a group or coven, there are terms that a witch should know the definition of to be able to communicate clearly within witchcraft and spiritual places, on social media, and in private. Terminology helps us define what we are and what we are not. It helps us create a verbal description of ourselves and our community. Language is a magic in itself, and it is an important part of witchcraft, in my opinion. Okay, so you may want to get out a pen and a paper, your journal, if you want to write these definitions down. However, I would highly encourage you to write the words down and go find your own definitions. Use the internet, use books you have, whatever you got. Use if you have witches that you come in contact with a lot, that you communicate with, ask them what their definition of these things are. So let's just start witch. Witch, for the purpose of this course, it means that any person, regardless of gender, religion, spiritual practice, belief in deities, that practices witchcraft. If you practice witchcraft, call yourself a witch if you want to. The next word, witchcraft. For the purpose of this course, we'll define this as the art of influencing the physical, mental, emotional, and ethereal realms through the utilization of nature, divinity, self, and or ancestral connections. Wicca. Wicca is a belief system and way of life based on the reconstruction of pre-Christian traditions originating in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, according to www.wicca.com. It is a structured path with doctrine to abide by. It is worth repeating that it is not an ancient religion, but based on pre-Christian traditions. Wiccan. Wiccan is a person that follows the Wiccan tradition. Secular. Secular means not subscribing to any religious dogma or including any deity or deities in your witchcraft practice or spiritual practice. This, what that means for witchcraft is that your practice is secular when witchcraft is practiced without a deity. Non-secular is including a deity or deities. Polytheism. That is the belief in more than one deity. This means that you involve more than one deity in your spiritual practice. An example would be paganism in like Greek history. The next word is monotheism. That is the belief that there is only one deity, that you worship only one deity. This means that your practice includes one. An example would be Christianity. Pagan. Pagan is a word that comes from the Latin word paganus, which is used to describe non-Christians at the end of the Roman Empire and those who believe in more than one deity. Often this word refers to those who do not recognize Abrahamic God of Christianity. Neo-pagan literally means new pagan. This is the person who practices paganism today. I am a neo-pagan. A lot of the social media spaces and in person, we just refer to ourselves as pagan, but technically we're neo-pagans. Everybody that was a pagan is dead now, like long ago. We're neo-pagans. Sabbat is the next word. Sabbat is a word used to describe the 8 festivals of the year celebrated by some witches, Wiccans, and other neo-pagans. So think like Yule, Samhain, that sort of thing. Esbat. According to Wikipedia, the term esbat is derived from Old English French word, and I'm not going to say it because I will murder it, but it means to frolic and amuse oneself in a diversion. I love that. Now it means a certain phase. Y'all, I have been having such a hard time with my words. I'm not even going to erase this and record it. Sorry. Now the word esbat means certain phases of the moon that neo-pagans and witches honor. So some of these terms can get a bit confusing when speaking to others about their pasts and labels. So let's take a look at how we can stack labels, like how you can describe yourself with all of these different terms. And this part can get kind of confusing. So stay with me here. I'm just going to go through and say, ask a question about a word. So For example, can I be a monotheistic witch? Yes, you can most definitely believe and worship one deity. For example, Abrahamic God in Christianity, and claim the word witch. The two terms can be separate: a Christian that practices secular witchcraft, or a Christian practices non-secular witchcraft by including the Abrahamic God in their practice. What would that look like? So if you are a monotheist spiritually and you go to the First Baptist Church, but when you do witchcraft, you do not call on your God. That is separate from you. That's fine. You're a monotheist and you're a witch. Or you can combine them. So stack those terms. Maybe you're a Christian that goes to the First Baptist Church and also calls on the Abrahamic God of that religion in your witchcraft. When doing spells, you call on them. So that would be also a monotheistic witch. And you can stack those. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's not clear as mud. So let's move on. Can a monotheistic witch be a pagan? Or neo-pagan in this instance? Absolutely. If you believe or honor a different deity other than the Abrahamic God and include this deity in your witchcraft practice, you are by definition a monotheistic witch. You have one pagan deity. Does that make sense? And I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, no. That's not how you use this. This is just what I'm seeing across the board in my experience. If you do not see it this way, that's fine. The next question, can a Wiccan be a secular witch? So do you remember what secular means? So secular means not including a deity within your spirituality or witchcraft. And by that logic, no. Wiccan tradition includes deity into their doctrine. They are a religion with deities in it. So you cannot be a secular witch and be a Wiccan, if that makes sense. Man, I'm going to get so much hate from this. I can feel people going, no, you're wrong. And that's fine. Next one, can a Wiccan be a pagan? Yes. Or neo-pagan. Neo-pagan infers the practice of believing in a deity other than the Abrahamic God. Does a witch have to be a pagan? No, they do not. Remember, witchcraft can be secular or it can be non-secular. So pick your poison. And here's the next one. Does a pagan have to be a witch? No. There are many other neo-pagan paths besides being a witch, such as Druidism and Odinism, just to name a couple. The next one would be, can you be a witch and be an atheist? Yes. Witch is a name to describe a person that practices some form of witchcraft. Witchcraft can be secular in nature. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. At this time, I'd ask you to write something in your journal about what the word witch and also witchcraft means to you, okay? And because I'm an oversharer, I'm going to share mine. For the word witch, to me, that means I have a relationship with the elements to gain connection to this world. I commune with my beloved dead to gain connection to the realms beyond this one. I have plant, animal, and spirit allies that assist me in altering my reality here on earth. I do not adhere to the laws of religion, nor the rule of three. I am both peaceful and baneful. I am a witch. For witchcraft, it's the art of influencing the energy within physical, mental, emotional, and or ethereal realms through the utilization of nature, divinity, self, and or ancestral connections. I highly recommend making this journal entry special. So take some time with it. Light a candle and maybe some incense to get you focused and vibing with this. I really do enjoy making journaling a whole ritual with a candle that I made for helping with creativity and opening up my communication center. See how you can make a simple act of journaling just a little bit more witchy for you. And it's whatever you have time for. Could be as simple as telling your pen to help you write the truth. The point is, make it intentional. Make it something that's part of your practice now. And I do want to just touch on something that I have seen come up in social media, and it was annoying, and I want to address it. If you have dollar store witchcraft supplies, fuck yeah. Like thrifted stuff, fuck yeah. You should not feel like you're less than if you have to get supplies secondhand or from the Dollar Tree. Like, you do you. Most of the stuff I get is from like thrift stores, Goodwill, and I love a good Dollar Tree candle. That's where I get my jars if I can't find them at Goodwill. Like, it's what I can afford. It's what a lot of people are going to rely on, especially in this shitty fucking economy that we're having in the US at the moment. So I don't want to see any witches shaming anybody else for their witchcraft supplies or where you got them. It is a very privileged take to tell other witches that they can't buy candles from certain places. That's bullshit. Nobody should be being that big of an asshole. So let's not do that. Let's lift each other up and recognize that everybody is going to do what they can with what they have. Okie dokie. I have a couple things that I wanted to talk about our online coven. It is on my website, witchywomanpodcast.com. Click on coven and it'll tell you how to purchase entry. Anyway, it's on my site. I'm no longer doing Patreon or anything like that because I got tired of giving them fees and they kind of own and control your shit. So I wanted to have control over all of my content myself. Anywho, I've got a couple changes. I have decided Discord is a pain in the ass. I have tried to work that out. I know it works fine for other people, but I wanted something a little more personal. And another podcasty friend, Kim from Your Average Witch podcast, has shown me Marco Polo, and it is a really fun app. Basically, it's messaging. You can send each other like videos, messages, and picture messages depending on what you want. And I thought it would be fun to be able to like keep in contact that way. And I know they also offer that as part of their online community. So check them out because they're where I found this app anyways. So if you would like to join, again, go to my website and then click on Coven. And I will send you, once you join, you'll get a link in an email on how to join the Marco Polo group. So think like, it's not Snapchat. It's not that. Messages don't disappear. They stay so you can like go back and look at them. So anyway, let's do that. I think that's all I have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a lot of dry information, but it's some really great exercises that you can do on your own to kind of get to get a feel for how you react to different words, what you feel about them, and how you want to define them. Because I want to reiterate, these are my definitions. They don't have to be yours. You can change them to feel however you want to feel. Like whatever. You do you. Thank you so much for listening. Next time, we are going to talk about astrology and how you can use astrology in your witchcraft practice, not craptist. Jesus, anybody else having problems with speech? Is somebody tell me if, speaking of astrology, is Mercury doing something that I should know about? Because holy crap. Okay, I'm just going to call it a day then. Everybody, stay witchy. Bye-bye.